Hi everybody, hope you're well. This video was requested by Stormcloud Maddie. In this video I'm going to be doing an updated version of the starting up an EC video. So this is going to be now, because we've got the merged ECs, we've got so many changes now, so this is going to be a little bit different from the original. And from that, we are going to have to pretend that I've never had an EC before in this video. So what we're going to be thinking about is pretend that my EC doesn't exist and that I'm just creating one. So we've got to get into that mindset. So whenever you get to your 20th day, Howrse will allocate you 25,000 equus, and you will be given this in order to start up your EC, and it will be added to your reserve. So you have to use that 25,000, smart. You have to use it in a smart way. So one of the first things I'm going to say, don't buy boxes. That is literally the first thing I did when I first started, and it's not a good idea. Just don't buy boxes. Don't let that be the first thing you do. It's a bit different if you have millions and you can afford to do that on your 20th day, but most people don't. So don't buy boxes. So whenever you get to create your EC, you will have a couple of choices. You can give it a name. You also have to pick the location that it's going to be in, and you're going to have to pick what discipline it is. So what I mean by that is, and I'll just go into the game help here because I think this will be the best way to show you it. So, and if you haven't read the game help, go read the game help. There's so much in there. So create and manage your question center and location. So whenever you get to create your EC, you get to pick a location, and that can be forest, beach, or mountain. And basically, based on where you are, there's a couple of things that is important for. So depending on the location, your question center, your borders will progress faster when doing certain types of rides. So like I do forest rides quite a lot with a lot of my blobs, so I went for a forest EC because of that, because it helps me complete them faster. So maybe if you decided, well, I do a lot of mountain rides with my horses, you might want to go with mountain. But obviously, it's also the resources you collect. So if you use wood a lot, or maybe iron or sand, you might want to pick, because you can't change it. Whatever you pick is a permanent thing, so you can't change this later. And in terms of the discipline, what I mean by this is you can have a classical or a Western EC. So what we'll do is we'll quickly go to the best equestrian centres. So you got classical ECs and you got Western ECs. And the classical ECs, obviously, they offer classical types of competitions, classical types of tack. Western ECs obviously offer Western tack, Western competitions. Okay, so if you blup in Western, maybe you want to have a Western EC, because then the tack that you have available to your borders will obviously be available through your EC. So those are a couple of things to start with, just things that you want to think about and be aware of. So once you picked your location, your discipline, you've given your EC a name, now you need to decide where to invest in your EC. So whenever it comes to investing in your EC, the best thing to do is to invest in meadows or workshops. And the reason for this is meadows and workshops can make you money. So we'll go to meadows first, because I think meadows is probably one of the better ones. Be aware of what season it is. So right now it's winter. So if you were starting your EC in winter, you might think it would be better to buy a greenhouse, because you can't plant crops in the meadows during autumn or winter, unless there's specific types of crops, but they're rare to get. Usually apples is easy enough to get, but something like pass seeds can, as far as I remember, be planted at any time of the year. But we'll just quickly have a look here in the shop. So agriculture, I'm just going to check, because I think pass seeds can be planted at any time of the year. Yeah. So in terms of these, a lot of these have different seasons. So apple seeds can be planted in the autumn. So there you go. Those ones would be something you could plant then. But the other crops, generally you can't. You have specific seasons. But if you're using a greenhouse, then you can plant them in any season. So really, if you're going to start your EC in an autumn or winter time, I would maybe go and buy a greenhouse instead of one of the other things. So the greenhouse prices change. Probably if you only have 25,000 available to you, you probably go for a medium one. And one of the things to say is, don't, if you go to buy meadows or greenhouses, don't just throw all 25,000 into it. You need to leave a little bit over, because if you buy a really great greenhouse for, let's just say hypothetically 25k, and that's all you had, now you can't actually put a crop on it to harvest and make money. You'd have to wait until you got more money. So that's one of the things to bear in mind. Now, I think really the smartest places to invest your money is either in your meadows and greenhouses, or your workshops. Now, if you're investing in your meadows and your greenhouses, you can have enhancements such as tractors, or if you're going to put in longhorn cattle or Bradford cows, for example, you want to invest in a water truck as well. Now, they're quite expensive; they're more than 25,000, so you'd have to wait. That'd have to be something you'd do in future. So we'll not worry so much about that. The greenhouses, there's currently no enhancement for greenhouses at this time. So make sure that if you're invested in your meadows or your greenhouses that you leave enough money over that you can actually plant a crop. That's one of the key things. And it's okay to start with a small greenhouse or a medium one or whatever. You don't need to start with the large ones. You can build your way up to those. So the other thing you can do is you can invest in your workshop. Now, based on the prestige of your EC, that depends how many workshops you can have in production. Now, if you don't know where to find that information on how many you can have, it is in the game help. Yet again, game help, a lot of stuff in there. So if you click on workshops here, you can see this is the information. So the number of workshops you can use simultaneously depends on the prestige value of your question center. Now, the first couple of days that you have an EC, it's not going to be allowing you to make 5, okay? You're going to have to build your way up to that. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and that's based on wherever your EC is in the prestige. So we'll just go back to the workshops here and retrieve these items for a moment. So I spent quite a while building up these large workshops. I did start off with a small workshop, and usually, as far as I remember, you are given a basic workshop whenever you start. So you can start making things. And if you're going to start making things, estimate the profitability of production. Click on that button and have a look. You can sort it by, the production sale value, the average profit per hour, you can work out all that stuff. There's loads of stuff there. You can do it for small workshops, medium and large. And you can figure out what would be the most, what would be the quickest, what would give you the most profit, and so forth. So there's really plenty of stuff in there to help you. So I think generally when you're starting your EC, the things to really keep in mind is think about where you're putting your EC, what discipline you're picking, where you're investing your money. Leave yourself enough money over that you can deal with certain things, whether that's having bought some meadows and you have enough to plant a crop, or you've bought an extra workshop that you have enough money to then actually start creating stuff in that workshop, and also to make sure that you don't buy extra workshops when you can't actually use them yet. I mean, if you're only allowed to use one workshop and you already got one, there's no point in buying a second one, So those are the sort of the things to bear in mind. And then, paying attention to the seasons and the weather as well, because those will affect what you can grow and so forth. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration there. You might want to be thinking about whether you want to leave a little bit extra money over for fertilizer or manure, because those will actually shorten the production time on your crops. So if you want to get them faster, that's a perfect way to do that. So that's some of the things you can do to help you start up your AC. And remember, don't buy boxes at the start. Okay, the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of people think that you make a huge amount of money from hosting people in your EC, and the truth is no. If I really look at the breakdown of where the money comes in from my EC, it is not from borders, even if I'm charging the most. So anyway, guys, I hope you had a lovely day. Thank you to Stormcloud Maddie for requesting the video, and bye-bye.